It was like a little bit of dribble, and then all of a sudden bombs were hitting, right? And I heard a tree snap, and then I heard another tree snap, and then I heard something hit the ground, and I went, dude, this ain't good, and then the power went out. And I was downstairs, my kids were upstairs, and they were screaming. And I've been saying this all week long, if you don't know where flashlights are, go ahead and figure that out. And so I didn't know where mine were. I knew what my iPad was, though, and so I grabbed the iPad, ran up the stairs, grabbed the kids. They were like, where's the flashlight? This is it right here. And so we walked downstairs. I'm dragging them down. They didn't want to go down. I put them against the wall. Said, stay put. I got to finish because we had stuff flying all over the yard. I mean, everything was flying. And so when I was going back inside, I heard Lincoln saying, I know somewhere I know somewhere in here, Jesus calmed a storm. I know somewhere God calmed a storm somewhere in here. And so it's in the Gospels. And if you're reading in Matthew, it's Matthew 8. And so I'm just gonna share this with you real quick. I don't know that you necessarily need the background, but Jesus with his disciples, he's teaching and speaking in parables. And they were going to go across the sea, and so they got into a boat, and so here's where it starts. When he got into the boat, his disciples followed him, and behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, and so that the boat was being swamped by the waves, but he was asleep. And then they went and woke him, saying, Save us, Lord, we are dying. And he said to them, Why are you afraid, O you of little faith? And then he rose and spoke, and the winds and the sea calmed. The men were marveled, saying, What sort of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? And my kids read that passage, and then they prayed, and in the moment that Lincoln said amen, the storm stopped. Maybe it's just my house. I don't know if it happened all around the state, but at my house, the wind stopped, and everything stopped. And all I can think of is all this week is all my patients' battles and all the storms that you guys go through, and the financial stuff and the job loss and everything else, and you battle to come here. Some of you guys battle just to get here. Like, you want to be here, but it is hard to even come here. You sit in traffic for 20-30 minutes, and out of that storm, though, and out of that battle, you bear fruit from it. And my question today is this, is that there's always something that's in the background. And so what is it? Can you name that? Can you call out that one storm, that flurry of wind that's in your life right now and that you need to do something about, and simply hand that over? I know I say simply, right? You hand it over. Just give it to God, right? He'll take care of it. But how about this? Why don't we work towards releasing that to him, because he's the only one that can truly calm the storm. Okay? And so we're going to start out with a little bit of prayer tonight for you guys. Lord God, thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for your peace, and that you are everything to us. You're way bigger than we could ever imagine. We are simply servants of you, Lord, and we love you. And we're giving our lives to you. We're doing this thing for our temple, for our health, so that we can serve you better. And I know that there's people in here that they're going through financial struggles, their relationships with their husband and wives is messed up. They're not real sure about what their future is, and I just want to ask that you show us a direction, give us discernment and wisdom, and allow us to see the blessings that you've already given us, Lord. Amen. Sometimes the blessings are those burdens. You get that? Sometimes it's that hard stuff that you get. Sometimes you got to lose a job to get a better job. Sometimes you got to quit a job to get a better job, but you don't want to quit that job because why? Well, it's going to be financially a struggle. It's going to hurt for a little bit. But you know what? If that's what God's calling you to do, who are you to say that you shouldn't do that? Because out of your own worry, your own fear. And so I just want to encourage you guys. If you're coming to community dinner, this is the July dinner, because the Chop House dinner in June got sold out. And so we are signing you up for the July dinner tonight. I know if you want to come to Chop House with us, we want you to be there. Bring a friend with you. I think that they limited us to 30 or 40 people, but if they do a really good job this time, then we're going to keep going over there. So it was time to switch dinner places for a little bit. If you're coming to the next classes, Dr. Josh is teaching a class on the 15th. Nutrition class is on the 22nd. Community dinner once again on the 10th, and then blood sugar battle. We're talking about diabetes on the 24th, and so we're going to talk about blood sugar addiction. We're going to talk about sugar addiction, blood sugar problems, and how to really defeat this thing for once and for good. Make sure that you turn that in before you get out of here. We got movie night coming up. That's going to be a nutrition-focused movie. Me and Jessica have been looking at 2 different movies that we want to watch. We've never seen them before, so we figured we probably want to watch them before we let you watch them. We don't know. At the end, it might say, go consult your doctor about starting a new diet plan or whatever. On the back end, once again, the Chop House right there. You got the movie night on the back page. And then these are your notes for tonight. So you got some recipes on the back, and you got 10 bits of summer shake wisdom right there. I've been doing a lot of corporate wellness talks, and I've been doing a lot of business talks. And so these are not free, but you are more than welcome to look at these. These are what we give to the people of your work or your business when we come in and do a talk with them. And so there's 5 parts to it. We cover nutrition and detox and posture and you name it. And on the back, there's a diet plan, a 30-day plan with recipes in the back. And so if you, maybe you're, here's what typically happens, why I get asked. Everybody in the office is sick except for our patient. And our patient's like, come on now, you got to do something. And then the arguments that happen with, oh, you don't need the ibuprofen anymore. You just need to go to the chiropractor. And so we do this. I'll come to your house. I'll come to your small group. I don't care where we go. I'll do anything that you need me to do to make sure that we're touching the people in this community. Remember that when we started Victory, it was the most medicated city in America, and now it's the 3rd most medicated city in Tennessee. And so you guys are doing a good job so far, but we're not the least medicated city in Tennessee. And so that's the goal. Tonight, we're talking about how we need to move. And so 20.7% of people claim that they exercise like they should. 1/3 of America's youth is unfit for military services. So when you're going into the military, you got to pass the test. 1/3 of them can't pass the test. 69% nearly of adults are overweight, and a study of 120,000 subjects revealed that an average weight gain of 16.8 pounds over a 20-year period equates to 1 full-size candy bar per day for 20 years. And the problem with gaining 16 pounds, what's the problem with gaining with 16 pounds over a 20-year period? That doesn't seem like a lot, but what's the real problem? It's not how you look, it's how what? It's how you feel, but even more than that, how's your heart pumping through 16 pounds of fat? How is cancer developing when it's got all this other stuff to deal with? How does your immune system work when it's got 20 extra pounds or 15 extra pounds of junk to deal with? And then that 16 pounds of fat, do you know what it harbors when you consume it? Toxins. It's toxic. And so now you're going to end up getting sick. And so, ultimately, I think we got to face it as a culture. We need to exercise something. We need to do something. Now, cultures that exercise the most are usually the leanest. And so this is from the CDC.gov. On the other hand, when a culture becomes sedentary, it becomes fat. Does that make sense? And so a lack of energy expenditure coupled with poor quality, high processed diets leads to really big people at any age. And it's pitiful to see kids nowadays, especially. And so fitness, this is a definition. I thought this was the most appropriate definition of fitness that I could find. Physical fitness is commonly defined as the capacity to carry out the day's activities, pursue recreational activities, and have the physical capability to handle emergency situations. Remember when you were a kid and you were in high school and you went through 7-8 hours of class, and then you got out and you did sports practice, and then you got out of sports practice and you went down the street and played ball for another 2 hours, and then if something did happen, you actually still had the energy to do that. That's what I feel like that is. I think that you should be able to get through your day fully, with full energy. At the end of your day, if you like to kayak or you like to go, do whatever you like to do, play ball or whatever, go be able to do that, and when you get home, still have the energy in case something does happen. Emergency meaning not necessarily you, but if my kids are sick and I've got to take care of my babies or something like that, then I've got to do that. You can come. You're either in the front or you're in the very back right there. It says your guest. If I want to be in the back, welcome. I'm Dr. J. Capability of the body distributing inhaled oxygen to muscle tissue during increased physical effort. Whatever you want to call it, ultimately it's a consumption of oxygen in order to create energy. And so the 5 essentials that we teach in the office are mindset. And so that list that you have right there, that's part of that Maximize Mind for this workshop. That's 10 bits and 10 just little things that you can do to remind yourself. Number 1, I like the first one. Face what? Reality, dude. We gotta face reality. And it's not about looks. Remember, being fat's not about being ugly. or be in what culture, because you can die of a massive heart attack. Like Bob what's his name? Harper. Bob Harper had a massive heart attack. He's like the fittest dude that we've ever met, right? We never met him, but we met him on TV, you know. And so he's so fit though. He eats right, exercises, everything else. But you know what? It doesn't mean anything if it's not true health from the inside. So you can eat right, exercise, but you've also got another thing to think about too, right? Nerve supply. How's your body connecting to your brain? What's going on with that? And so, number 3, quality nutrition. Me and Calvin's wife were talking today about. We have 2 plans in the office here. Can anybody name those 2 plans? It's the advanced plan, good, and the core plan. The core plan is your maintenance plan. There's never there's 2 options. There's never a third option. It's either advanced plan or core plan or not. And so if it's advanced plan, that means my intention is losing weight. I got to get this inflammation. I've been a bad guy, and so I haven't been taking care of myself, and I'm going to advanced plan. I'll do that for 2 weeks or 30 days or whatever to get back into the core plan. That's when you start to introduce grains and different sugars and those kind of things. And then on the bottom there, we'll cover oxygen, maximize oxygen lean muscle, but minimize toxicity. And like I said, 16 pounds of extra body fat over 20 years. That's a lot of toxins that your body is dealing with. And so researchers found that. Listen to this stat. If you know a person that's taking antidepressant day, researchers found in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, researchers found that walking for 30 minutes each day improves a patient's symptoms faster than an antidepressant. And that was over a 10-day period. 10 days. They found that study. In 2012, a study found that 4 months of high-intensity interval training significantly improved cognitive function, such as the ability to recall and make quick decisions. And so, who do you know or who is in here that you're dealing with brain fog today? You need blood to go into your brain. You need oxygen to go into your brain. There's another study that said that regulation of brain and body chemistry and hormonal balance. We know that your estrogen and testosterone, your progesterone, your cortisol levels, all those other hormones, they're going to be better regulated when you're exercising on a consistent basis. And so this is what most people say though. Listen to this. A glamour poll of over 300 women found that 97% experience "I hate my body" thoughts. And so you don't have to raise your hand or shake your head, but do you think about that? Do you say that kind of stuff to yourself? The more that you speak about yourself in that way, the more that you'll become that, right? And so the more that I say I'm free, I am a child of a risen King. I have a purpose. I am passionate about this, and so I get fired up about it. And you never get fired up about I'm fat today. I'm super fat today, right? And so all that does is it just drags you down. So I'm going to ask you guys to change the way that you think about yourself. Instead of I hate my body, I love the way that I look. Or how about this? I love the way that I'm going to look. Speaking into you. There's a book that's called The Power of Positive Thinking. Anybody ever read that book before? Woo! And that will change your life as far as the way that you look at life. I'm too lazy to exercise. Well, or you could say I wake up every day and exercise. Even if you're not getting results from it, at least you speak into that you're doing something about it. I'm not a healthy person. I am the healthiest person I know, or I've decided when I wake up in the morning, I have decided to become healthy. And so part of that being healthy, I got to get on that exercise. Best time to exercise is before you wake up. That means my alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock, and I'm half asleep, right, doing all my stuff. And by the time I get done with my 12 minutes of exercise, now I'm awake. And it wasn't really that bad. Better do it in the morning than the afternoon. Why? Hormones, absolutely. You're going to go with your growth hormones, absolutely. Something else. More likely to do what?
Get rid of fat.
Yeah, you're awesome. That's actually not what I'm going for, but you're so smart. And so you are actually more likely to burn fat. She's smart. And so when you wake up in the morning, you've already been producing all your normal homeostatic hormones. These are healing hormones. Growth hormone is being produced in this moment. And then if you add exercise to that in the morning, that's going to boost your growth hormone. You're going to burn fat. How cool is this? You're going to burn fat for 36 hours. How often do you have to exercise? Every other day. You can exercise every other day and do that. And I argue with people all the time. I argue with Olympians all the time. I argue with that marathoner that comes in and bike riders and all this other stuff, and I fight with them. And you know what? I challenge them. Do this for 6 weeks, and I promise you it's going to change you. And I've never had anybody go, "Oh, that's a terrible way to work out." Everybody always says, "You're right." And it's almost like they say it in shame. You shouldn't say it in shame. Just speak into it. And so, exercise hurts. That's what I hear a lot of times. Exercise hurts. Listen. Do you mean, here's my question for you today. Do you mean that it makes you uncomfortable?
Sometimes.
Yes. Okay. The science is clear, though, is that the more you depart from a state of resting homeostasis, the greater the results of an exercise session. And so, is it necessary to become uncomfortable to broaden your horizons and to learn new things and to grow in your faith or whatever it is? Sometimes you actually got to work and you got to be uncomfortable. When I'm trying to develop a relationship with my wife, which is, that's our thing. We just always try to do that, try to get better. It's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable for me to say, hey, you're awesome every single day. I may say that to you guys, but at home it's hard. It's hard when you got the kids and everything else. And so I know that's her love language, but it's really uncomfortable for me to say really just generous compliments over and over and over again. Hey, baby, you did a good job. All right, there you go. I love you. I love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, right? And so I married you so long ago. I love you, right? And so, no, that's not how that works. And so it's uncomfortable to grow. This is not to say that if you've never exercised, then you should get up and pound out a workout, though. And so if your arthritic knee is just bound up and you can't get pounding and jumping today, then we ask that you do something, though. Here's what the truth says, is that exercise reduces pain and arthritis. If you get motion into that joint, you'll blow the arthritis out of it. The reason that it got arthritis in the first place is because the things that you were putting in your body and a lack of motion. Your spine, if you got adjusted every day, or you got adjusted on a consistent basis from the time that you're born to the time that you're 50, I've never seen anybody have that story and have arthritis at the same time. Never. Because those people's joints are always moving. You're always getting motion in the joint. If a person has a severely degenerated knee, then pounding, obviously, is going to mess them up. And so we want to have practical applications. And so if my elbow's got arthritis in it, and every time I extend my elbow, it kills me, then what should I do? Something smaller, but you got to do something. Lie number 2, I don't have the time to exercise. How many minutes do we say that it takes in doing Max T3? 12 to 15 minutes. If you're exercising over 30 minutes, you're producing cortisol and negating all your gains if you're not consistently working out like that anyways. Anybody in here running marathons? No, don't work out over 30 minutes. I don't have the time to exercise. I like that. I like this. I can't afford the equipment. How much equipment do you need to do high intensity interval training? None. You don't need anything. It's squats, it's curls, it's push-ups, it's burpees, right? It's everything hard. It's everything but speed. But if you really go back and think about it, the majority of us, when we got in the best shape of our life, in high school or college, and you know what you were doing back then? You were on the basketball court, and you were running like to the free throw line, running back to the baseline, running to the half court, and running back to the baseline, running 3/4 course, and then you would come all back. It took you about 12 seconds or 15 seconds, and then your buddy went and ran, and you were rested. And then as soon as he came back, what'd you do? You did it again. That's generally the best shape that we ever get in. Now, that's the people that, Justin Gatlin on the USA Olympic team, those wrestlers that are they'll go hard for 15, 20 seconds, and they go out of bounds, come back to the middle, and then they go right back again, okay? And so it's high intensity for a short amount of time, and then rest, and then high intensity, and then rest. It's about getting your heart rate up and bringing it down. Heart rate up, bringing it down. At some point, somewhere within 12 to 15 minutes, the research says you produce growth hormone. Growth hormone is what those pro baseball players are taking to stay young. That's what Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, all those guys, you know what they got busted with? It was HGH. It was human growth hormone. That's because it burns fat. Do you remember what those guys looked like before? They were not all muscle ripped. And when they gained that muscle, you know what they lost? Fat. They lost that fat. And so we don't need equipment. We don't need to make an excuse that there's not time. And yes, it probably will hurt, but you grow in the tough times. Here's what, this was a study from British Medical Journal as well about 3 years ago. They did a study on people who succeeded in losing weight and had their following in common. 98% of the people that lost weight modified their food intake. Make sense? 90% exercised. The recent study in Stanford study, this is data heavy tonight, by the way. That's why I'm reading this. A recent Stanford study showed that a group given an educational 8-week weight management course prior to a 20-week weight loss program, that means they educated them about why that stuff's bad, and then they put them on the weight loss program. That's way more successful. In fact, they said that the study showed how important meal planning, goal setting, and accountability are to achieving weight. They were able to maintain the weight loss because they knew. They were educated. Education's huge, guys. Knowing why you're doing it. So this is why you do, and this is why you don't run on a treadmill for an hour. Why you do. It lowers your resting heart rate. You only have a certain amount of heartbeats, right? And so that's not necessarily true. But you are going to run out of heartbeats one day. The more that your heart beats, the more pressure, the more work that your body has to do, the more work that your liver has to do to clean it, the more work that your kidneys have to do to filter it, and so it gets worn out. And so resting heart rate lowering, that's great. That's awesome news. Lowers blood pressure. Of course, you know the benefits of that. Keeps your brain young by increasing circulation. This is great news. And aids detoxification and stimulates the lymphatic system. But the cons are these. It raises your stress hormones, and the stress hormone cortisol increases and stimulates your appetite. So now you work out, and what are you? Hungry. Breaks down muscle, and it increases fat storing. It slows down and inhibits exercise recovery. It decreases testosterone and human growth hormone, both that are necessary to build muscle and burn fat. Decreases immune system function after exercise. Did you know that? Did you know that you can exercise and actually get sicker? And so you want to keep your classic cardio at a minimum. Metabolic conditioning. 12 minutes a day. It's characterized by short surges of a high intensity, short duration. It's characterized by, or the key to the burst training, the effectiveness of it is hormones called catecholamines. Anybody know what catecholamines are? Also known as adrenaline. Yep. And there's three of them. It's dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. And these are compounds. These are necessary in lipolysis. Do you guys know what that is? Breakdown of fat. You got that right. And so you have to have adrenaline running through your body, catecholamines going through your body in order to burn fat. How cool is that? When we're going through, I made this chart because I thought it was cool, and it was easy to teach, except for all these cool little things. There you go. Good. Metabolic conditioning increases HGH and testosterone. Guys, you have to have testosterone. The lower your testosterone, the bigger this thing right here gets. Okay. Decreases cortisol level. That's when people have too high cortisol level. Where's the fat go then? Do you know? Stomach for ladies, but a lot of people, they'll have it where right there. You see people with a big hump on their back? That's cortisol a lot of times. Increases cellular function, CO2 or O2 utilization, and waste elimination. Your body uses a few things for fuel. It uses oxygen, sugar, and ketones. Remember, sugar is the bad stuff. When you decrease your sugar, you start burning ketones, but also oxygen is a fuel for the body to burn, and that's necessary for waste elimination. That means that you're breathing in, but what are you breathing out? CO2. Yeah, you breathe out CO2, but you also breathe out toxins. I don't know that a lot of you guys know that. When you breathe out, you're not just breathing out CO2. You're breathing out the stuff that was actually in your body. Yeah, that's good stuff. And so improves cardiovascular response and the body's ability to consume oxygen, deliver O2, significantly increases lean tissue development. The afterburn, it increases metabolism both during and after exercise. 36 hours, guys. That's awesome. And enhances anaerobic and aerobic energy systems. 1997 study said there's a significant loss in body fat in a group that exercised at a high intensity of 80 to 90% of their maximum heart rate. How do you do your maximum heart rate? Anybody know? It's 220 minus your age. 220 minus your age. There was no significant change in body fat. Was found in the lower intensity group, which exercised 60 to 70%. In another study, small group exercised using metabolic condition over 12 weeks. The subjects lost an average of 0.31 or a stick of butter from pure fat from their waistline, and 3.1 pounds of pure fat from their trunks in that time span. Hey, that's only doing exercise, guys. That's only doing exercise. What if you add weight loss to that, or you add nutrition to that? You add good chiropractic care to that. High-intensity exercise reverses most of the risk factors of metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is an epidemic, y'all. That's diabetes to the 10th degree. And so we know for sure that when you exercise on a consistent basis, it reverses those. They say that this is not reversible. They say that once you're in the mess, that you're in the mess and you're not getting out of the mess. But what the research says is exactly that. That's from the Journal of Circulation. And how long ago? 2008. How come we haven't heard about this before?
Because they want to keep you on drugs.
They keep you on drugs? I mean, that there is that kind of stuff, political stuff. There's too much information. We have too much information about all kinds of stuff. Everybody's done this, and here's the truth. You know somebody that runs on a treadmill for an hour a day, and she did lose weight. But you also know 3 other people that run on a treadmill every day, and they didn't lose weight. And that one lady will make it sound like that's the best thing in the world, but maybe that's not right for you. The good thing about this is that this is proper. This is studied over thousands of patients. You guys may not know this. I'm a part of a group of doctors called Maximize Living. There's over 400 doctors. There's over 250,000 patients that we have. We do studies on all you guys all the time. We don't put your socials and all that stuff. We don't give all your data. But I know this is that if I adjust you this specific way and we use the arthrostim a certain way, I'm going to get an extra degree out of that curve. I know that if I put you on this exercise plan compared to what we used to put you on, which is 5 days a week, you're going to get better results. And when I heard that you could exercise every other day and lose weight, you're insane, is what I said. That's insane. You can't do that. And you know what? We tried it and we did. And so personally for me, I've lost 40 pounds. I was a chunk. Big time. And so you guys, who in here has lost 20 pounds since you've been at Victory? Like a lot of you guys. And so And so you guys lost 20 pounds since you've been at Victory. And so that's a combination of all those 5 essentials that we talked about at the first of the class. And so anything that raises your heart rate, you can cycle, you can do sprinting. You know what I love to do? And I saw this Dr. Josh. Anybody work out with Dr. Josh in the parking lot the other day? Woo! He will make you run up the hill and run back down the hill, won't he? And when you get down at the hill, at the top of the hill, he makes you do jumping jacks or whatever, or punches or whatever it is. But that's awesome. About the fittest that we ever got, me and Rachel, is we were living in Maryville when we first moved to Tennessee. And you know that hill behind Olympia? Does anybody know that hill? Holy cow! Does anybody know the track? There's like a track that winds up that. Woof. We decided that one day we're going to run that hill. And we ran the hill. We ran it 10 times. Every time that we got to the top of the hill, we do 10 push-ups or 10 dips or whatever it was. And then we run back down. We did that for about 3 months. And she got back down to her high school weight when she was doing that. She was killing it. And so then we moved away. Now we got this big old hill down Land Oak that you're not running that thing 10 times at all. And so we elliptical, whole body movement, squat thrusts, lunges. And so can we do that? Can we do a little burst and let's just see what you got and make sure that we're all good to go? If you have shoulder problems, then don't punch as hard as you can. You can do curls or whatever, but we're not going to make you work too hard. It was less of a question than a statement. What I meant to say is that we are about to do this work. Oh, good question. Will you?
I'll remind you.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. All right. So you just pick whatever exercise you want to do. You can do curls, or that's our traditional makeover exercise. So let's not do that one. We can do squats. You can do squats like this if you want to spread out. You can do lunges like that if you want to. You can do it like this where you switch. If you want to, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do one arm for 20 seconds and then the other arm for 20 seconds. You can do this, you can do that, you can do whatever. But I want you to go hard and fast. It's not about, right now, I'll be okay if your technique's not good. I want to see you work hard. Because if you work hard, then it ain't no good. All right? If you're not working hard. All right, so we'll do some squats. Like that. Spread out. We're going to count for 20 seconds. All right? We'll start at 25. We'll end at 45. Ready? Go. And so arms wide out like that. As far as you can. If your knee's messed up, then don't go so far. Go fast as you can, though. Faster. Yeah, that's it. And so if you can't go all the way down because of speed, if you want to just come like this and you can do this, that's okay too. Time, take it, shake it out. You shake your legs out. This is the old Bradley Central wrestling kick. We're going to do curls. Let's do alternating for 10. Just one sec. We'll do alternating for 10, and then we'll do both same time. Ready? Go as fast as you can. And I'll bet you can do faster. Tina, I know you can do faster. Yep, good. Good job, guys. Yep. Marla's got her eyes closed because she's intense. Good. Yep. And so keep going. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Good. And so what you're probably saying now is that I'm breathing heavy. And that's silly. But what you're doing is you're raising your heart rate, aren't you? And you're bringing it down. And what I've just told you is that you're producing growth hormone right now. You're literally burning fat right now. That's awesome. Ready? We're gonna do. Let's do both same time. Ready? Fast as you can. Good. Yeah, shake it just. What's that one dumbbell that you use that shakes you like this? Oh, somebody's got one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Give yourself a hand clap. So right now, here's the truth. You're not winded though. You're not sweating yet. You may be sweating, but you're not like burnt out. What if you take a minute break, do it all over again, and take a minute break and do it all over again, and do that for 12 minutes. And as soon as that 12-minute timer stops, you hang it up, and you may go for the first couple times. You may go, man, that wore me out. And so if it did, then you stay there. Once you get to your end of your workout and you go, that wasn't as bad as it used to be. That's when you go from 20 seconds to 25 seconds. That's when you go from a 20-second burst to a 30-second burst. But I really want you to keep your time on your rest no less than 10 seconds. If you're not taking a rest, then it is not good. And so I like a 20-second break. I really do. I like a 40-second burst. I like this maximum. A 40-second burst and a 20-second rest, and you do that for 12 to 15 minutes. You guys can have a seat. Also, what you can do, I learned this from a guy named Dan Pompa. He would get his treadmill. We started doing this at Olympia too. We do this over at Fort Sanders. Is that we'll get our the treadmill. I'll get it up to about 9.5 miles per hour, and it's got between my legs, and I know I'm about to jump on this thing, right? And so I know what time it is. I'm going to sprint for 20. I'm going to rest for 20. I'm going to sprint for 20. And so as that thing's going, boom, jump on it as fast as I can. I'm sprinting, step to the side. Whew. All right, rest, and this thing's still going. I'll do that for 2.5, 3 minutes, and then I'll step off the treadmill, let that thing wind down because it's annoying to the people beside me. And then I'll get right back on it, but I'll do that for 12 to 15 minutes. Marla just asked, well, what about weightlifting? You lift weights on the days that you don't burst. But you do lift weights on the days that you don't burst because you're still producing growth hormone, and you're still going to use that human growth hormone to build muscle and to burn fat. And so absolutely, I do like a rest day, at least once a day, if not 2 rest days. But you don't want to you can do a long walk the next day. You can do a short run the next day, but you don't want to really combine them with both. You really want to keep your workouts separated like that because you're doing 2 different muscle groups there. Summer is the peak diet season for women 25 to 54. Agreed?
Oh, good.
I saw this. I saw this quote. I thought it was good. Don't waste all your energy exercising only to put the wrong kind of fuel in your body. Your results will be severely crippled. What is the best at post-workout? What's the best thing you can put in your body? Water. Okay, now what? Protein powder. Protein, any kind of protein, but you want to do protein right after you work out so that you use that protein to build that muscle. If you eat sugar right after, then you decrease your increase in all your good hormones, and so you really mess yourself up. Of the 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lose on the diet. That's sad, isn't it? And so Atkins dieters in here, I know there's probably a couple of you. You gain like way more weight back after because you you get that flesh, man. That flesh will go, oh, I'm just so hungry for bread. And then once you get off of bread, it's almost like an alcoholic, you know. And so he used to not. He was drinking a case of beer before, and then he quit. And then when he got back on, he's going crazy. He's like literally killing himself. And so part of that's the shame, because you fell back. And you just go and eat and just don't care about yourself, and you start saying those words, I hate myself, I hate my body, I can't believe I've done this. I've had patients quit because of the shame that they lost the weight and then they gained the weight back, and I've had patients quit because of that, the shame. We're never going to shame you. I don't care if you gain 300 pounds. Don't do that. I do care, actually. But if you gain 300 pounds, still let us serve you. Now we know you really got a problem, right? And so we want to serve you through that. And so don't walk in shame, and don't start hating yourself if you do put some of the weight back on. Studies show that dieting may promote weight gain because of the yo-yo diet. That's a recent study. It was about 2 weeks ago. Came out and said if you have bounced from 3 different Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, and there's a couple other ones, Curves or whatever. If you've hit 3 of those in your lifetime, you're more likely to have weighed more than when you started than you ever did if you had never even done a weight loss program. How messed up is that? That's because they're so confusing. Counting calories. What are you going to do? Counting calories, and then you're counting points. I can have a Twinkie, you can have 12 Twinkies on Weight Watchers. No sense. So, drop 10 pounds fast. If you want to drop 10 pounds in the next month, this is what you'll do. Eliminate your sugars and cut out your grains. Of course, it's the same old, isn't it? That sounds like the advanced plan, doesn't it? Remove bad fats and add good fats, because you need fat to burn fat. Remember that your cells, you've got 74 trillion cells, they all absorb stuff and they release stuff. But if you're not releasing your toxins because your fats are bad and your cells are bad, then you're getting congested. It's called cellular congestion. You get swollen and toxic, and it just builds up and eventually becomes a metabolic problem. Eat fruit sparingly. If you're going to do fruit, then what kind of fruit? Berries and green apples, Granny Smith apples, and lemons, limes, and one other that we've been adding lately? Grapefruit. Yep, you got it. Grapefruit. Sure is. And then avoid toxins, of course. Healthy fat. Healthy fat is a source of energy. It's essential for cell wall integrity. It helps the body to burn fat. Supplements brain function. Makes up 70% of the brain tissue. It's anti-inflammatory. Balances hormones. It aids in the transport of soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Do you think that fat is important? Absolutely. Fat is crucial. Fat's crucial. And so healthy oils, coconut. Remember, there's 2 types. There's refined and unrefined. Olive oil is a low heat or salad oil. You don't ever cook it with medium heat. Grapeseed oil is my favorite oil for eggs. I love to cook eggs in a cast iron. I know it's a lot of extra cleaning, but that's how we do it. And so grapeseed oil and eggs in a cast iron pan. That's the best eggs I've ever had in my life. Flaxseed oil, hemp seed oil. Avocados are a great source of fat. So avocados, though, did you know? Avocados got decimated in South America, and there's only 40% of the world's, like, whatever they call it, the production of avocados. And so avocados are about to skyrocket, y'all. And so can you grow an avocado tree at your house? It takes about 5 years, maybe. You can. If you decide to do that, let us know. Grass-fed beef. That's a normal 4-to-1 to 2-to-1 ratio of fatty acids. And so you need to eat clean meats. Every time that you eat a bad meat, then you're messing up your ratio and you're messing up your weight loss goals. Wild caught fish, of course, those are just the same old, same old. Those are the things we've taught you all the time. Don't sabotage your workout. No carbs or sugar for at least 2 hours after exercise. That is definitely something I've never taught you before. So if you're writing something down tonight, that is one of those. No sugar after 2 hours after you exercise. Refined carbs, sugary drinks. That's typically what we want to do. Protein. The reason that protein is good for you, not only does it give you mass for your muscle, but it also draws sodium out of your cells because it's loaded with potassium. The more potassium that you have, the less sodium that you're going to have. And so when you draw sodium out of the body, the swelling goes down and you start to lose some water weight. And you start to feel some pretty good gains from that. The Max Greens, just because it's alkalizing and it's just good food for your body. And it's not going to be a bunch of sugar, it's going to be good stuff. Max Fit has adaptogens in it, and so they help you to deal with stress and the stress of actually working out. Working out stressful. You know, it can be. Some of us stress ourselves out on the way to the gym. I heard this story a while back. It was a guy, he said, and I shared this at Makeover a while back, a couple years ago, is that some of us start off, we go to the gym and we were going 7 days a week, and then we realize a month later that we've kind of just been driving by the gym a couple days a week, and then by the time that, you know, like 7 years are up, you've said over and over again, I'm going to go use my gym membership, I'm going to go use my gym membership, but you ultimately, you just pay for the gym membership. And you just kind of drive by the gym, and hopefully will go do that one day. And so for that person out there, quit the gym. You don't need the gym anyways. The reason that we have a gym, our gym has childcare, and so me and my wife can work out together. Is it worth it to us? We try to spend our money towards what's valuable in our life. And so I pay a guy, and maybe you're an outdoor guy and you want to do the yard, but I pay a guy to mow my yard because I know that's going to take me 2 hours a week, and you know what? I work so much that I need 2 hours with my kids, and so that Saturday I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go spend the time with my kids. Does that make sense to you guys? And so spend the things. If you don't have a gym membership, but you want to work out with your wife, you got kids at home, then you know what? Pay for the gym membership. It's got the child care. A couple of toxicity things. Summer, Jess, she's not around. She was looking up some stuff, but we're looking for the chemical called oxybenzone in your sunscreen, and you have got to get off that stuff. Oxybenzone. Oxybenzone. Anything with a B-E-N-Z, you don't want to be. That means it's got a benzene ring. Benzene rings are free radicals. Those are highly volatile chemicals when they break up into simply a benzene ring. So you'll see something like phenoxybenzyl hydroxide or something like that, whatever that chemical structure is. If you see the word B-E-N-Z, it is never, ever, ever, ever good for you. It's a carcinogen. Sunscreens, a lot of times, they have an estrogenic effect, and so there's chemicals that interfere with normal sexual development and cause a host of secondary medical problems. Those are those xenoestrogens that we talk so much about. That means that they've got these plasticizers in there, because that's what makes it kind of coaty. You know, that's what makes it like stay on your skin and not be just pure water. They use a plasticizer on there. That plasticizer gets absorbed into your skin. Or how about this? And I know this happens all the time with kids. Is they'll wipe their arm and then they'll put it in their mouth, and you know we don't notice all that all the time, but just a little bit, man. A little bit of poison every day is a lot of sickness in the future. And so with these sunscreens, you gotta be careful with them. We use one called Kiss My Face, and there's another one that we've been using, and I'll get that information for you soon.
What was that one again, Steve?
Kiss My Face was the one that we used. I missed one thing I want to cover here in just a second, so I'm going to go back. Oh, this is from the Journal of American Oncology, and there's another one. It's a combination study of that one and another one that's in circulation. And here's a quote. This is from that study. I thought this was pretty interesting that they would talk like this. Weight loss can be a result of loss of any body tissue, fat or muscle. When you have a statin, and when you're taking a statin, and it's chewing away your muscle, you can lose weight. You can exercise too hard. You ever heard of somebody working out too hard? I know when we first started doing CrossFit, I've heard a lot of people having problems with what's called around the country a condition called rhabdomyolysis. You ever heard of that before? That's when your muscles break down and the tissue, it basically dies, it atrophies, and so you can go too hard. And so just like tonight, if you're sore already, who in here, you feel a gun popping up yet? And so somebody in here is like, where did that gun come from? I have muscle now. That's just because you've been curling a little bit. But sometimes you can go too hard, you go too crazy. And so I encourage you to know your limits, know exactly what your body can take, but be a little bit uncomfortable. They said that traditionally most people believe that if you want to lose fat, then you must participate in classic old school. They said this in a study. I love it. Classic old school, low to moderate intensity cardio program. That is flat out not true. In fact, high intensity, short duration exercise consistently outperforms classic cardio time and time again. In this study, with workloads being equal, the high intensity group lost significantly more weight than the moderately intense group. You want it. And so when you want it, you go hard for it. And when you're going hard for it, you get it, and then you stop, and then you claim it, and then you rest a day, and then you go again. That's cool. They call that afterburn, by the way, post-exercise oxygen consumption. Listen to that. However, the metabolic conditioning, that you burn energy very rapidly. More importantly, you continue to burn fat 36 hours. That's a truth. That's a truth that we get to have. Rain. All right. Always land on this. Always land on this. The majority of people that start here, but way before they start on a diet plan, because that takes us like 2 weeks to really get you talked into it. You already lose like 2 or 3 pounds before you even get started, and that's simply because your brain is now connected to your body at homeostasis. That means you're coming back to normal. And so, hey, if I'm getting chased by a tiger out here, here's a neurological truth for you. If I'm getting chased by a tiger or a bear out there, my body is going to keep fat on. It just is, because it's in survival mode. That's how smart that God made our bodies. It knows when you're in stress and trouble, and it knows when you're relaxing. Now, if I'm going through stress, so say I leave here today and I get in a car wreck. After the car wreck, something else happens to me. I go home and get in an argument with my wife. Get in an argument with my kids. Put a bunch of junk into my body. That's going to affect the way that my body responds to stress. And so you can do a couple things. You can put good food in your body, right? But ultimately, you can go a month without food. You can go days without water. You can go minutes without air. But if I cut your spinal cord in half, then your body dies how fast? Immediately. And so in order for you to digest the food that you eat, and in order for your muscles to use the oxygen that you're consuming, the information from your brain has to get to that tissue close to 100%. The definition of health is not feeling great, right? Let's go drink some whiskey. We'll feel awesome, right? Not the next day. But the definition of health is 100% function of all cells, tissues, organs, and glands 100% of the time. Dorland's Medical Dictionary. Gray's Anatomy says that all function in the body is controlled by one organ, and that's the nervous system. And so this is how this works. How cool is that? And so information, 345 miles per hour. Everybody wiggle your big toe. How do you do that? 345 miles per hour, 20 watts. Boom. Information says, hey, wiggle your toe. That's also the same thing that let's blink your eyes. Toward your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, your ears to hear me. That's the same thing that innately, you were thinking about something else on your drive over here, but somehow you made it here. How is that? Because your brain is connected to your body, right? It also connects into your muscles. Do you agree? In order for circulation in your ankles and circulation to get out of your ankles and go throughout your body, in order to stop having that swelling, at bare minimum, the information from your brain has to get down to the blood vessels. And blood vessels to squeeze and then relax and squeeze. There's not a bigger priority and not a bigger thing that we do at Victory than that. And so if you're a guest in here, we always offer our guests a chance to come into the clinic. We don't need any more patients. God's blessed me with plenty. But also know that there's always somebody in need. And there's always somebody that has been to Vanderbilt, you've been to Duke, you've been to somewhere else, you've been to the other doctors, you've probably even been to 3 or 4 other chiropractors before you came in here. But this combination of wellness, this is max mind, nutrition, detox, exercise, combined with true neurological care. I just can't think anything better than that. So we always offer you a chance to come in. We'll skip over that one. If you're a guest today, then we'll take your card here in just a second. And also, if you're bringing a friend to that dinner, make sure that you get their name and phone number on there. We are doing 15% off of protein and Max Fit tonight. 10% off of all the other resources tonight. There's one last thing that I want to cover before you go. This is part of a bigger challenge. It's a 30-day challenge that we've made for you. Okay? We'll be emailing that thing out. What I need from you is those connect cards, so that when Miss Jessica starts to put these in, that she knows where she's sending this. Because this is not going to be a Facebook follow-up. This is not going to be a very intense thing, but we do ask that we can send this to you privately, and you can print this out at your house. Okay, it's like 7 pages of recipes and a nutrition plan with it. It's got all kinds of. That Summer Shape Nutrition Workshop is coming up. By Sugar Addiction Workshop is coming up soon, so make sure that you get signed up for that. Hey, does anybody know a diabetic? Would you bring that person to this workshop? No.
She's in Florida.
She's in Florida, so we'll put her on Facebook. So here's what we do ask is that if you know somebody that's got sugar problems, that they've been struggling, maybe they're even on the potential of, maybe they're going in on the insulin and they're thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on insulin for the rest of my life. What am I going to do? Bring them to this workshop and we'll help that. And then that lady that you've been talking to her about sugar, but man, she just can't put down those peppermint patties. Bring her too. We'll close with this number 7. One of the most powerful things that I did this week is I had a lady that she came in. She's been getting really no results at all with her neck pain. She's been with me for about 6 weeks, and it's just been bad. She's doing everything we asked her to do. She's made our appointments. She's doing nutrition, and she's not doing anything. And then I just had a real deal conversation with her, and I said, "What is going on with you? There's something else going on with you. And like, what's going on with your life?" And she's like, "So much is going on with my life." And I said, "But you're keeping it all up here. You've got to write that down. Write down everything that's going on in your life and start knocking out that checklist. And you'll feel accomplishment from knocking out the checklist, but you'll also be able to see back up 30,000 feet and go, okay, these are the things that are important in my life, and these things are really not important in my life. I keep on thinking about them all the time." So write it down. That's number 7 on that sheet. Number 8, don't sabotage your workout. Don't go eat a bunch of sugary stuff after you work out. Some of us want to do that, and we'll go work out as a reward. Go eat some ice cream. Don't do that. And if you're gonna do that, let's be real. So one of you guys will. If you're gonna do that, it needs to be how long after your workout? You got it. That's it. We learned something tonight. Snack Smart. The average amount of weight gain in a study of 120,000 subjects equated to 1 fun-sized candy bar per day for 20 years. That's crazy. And then on the bottom, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. So Zig Ziglar said that. I have an accountability partner in my life. I have a really good friend that calls me out on all kinds of stuff, and it sucks to talk to him sometimes. But he's my bro, and he cares and loves for me. So we care and love for you guys, and I hope you get that. You got burdens on your heart, whatever's on your heart. Let us walk with you. I'm not a psychological counselor. But simply by making that lady, yesterday she wrote that list down. Today was like, woo! She was pain-free today. She was great today. She felt great today. It was like all those 6 weeks of not results. In one day, she got the results. Is that psychological? Yeah, it's psychological. And I love that. And I don't care. I don't care if it's psychological, it's metaphysical, whatever you want to call it. We're in the Metrodome. We're in the wherever we're at. Is that we're getting results. Okay? And so we write it down exactly what we want to do, where we're going. I'm going to ask you to do one thing to do right now. I want you to write down, if you're wanting to lose weight, be real with yourself right now. How much do you weigh right now? Write down. How much do you weigh right now? Write down. Not shameful, because it was fun and felt good being all that way. Didn't it? But those donuts aren't worth it. And now I want you to write down your ideal weight. Write down your ideal weight. Okay. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to go home tonight and get some lipstick or mascara or a marker, and you're going to write that last number that you wrote on the mirror, and you'll look at it every day. And you're going to remind yourself what your goal is. You wake up. For years, we had this Habakkuk 2:3. It talks about for the vision will come. The vision's there. It will not tarry. It's come to pass. It was totally off. It's not even. It was about like there was a slaughter that was happening, and it was waiting to tarry. But we just made that our own vision, and we were like, we have this vision of victory. And we had this poster board in our room for probably 4 years. And then when we created it, when the day that I went to the lawyer down here and I signed that Victory Chiropractic and Wellness / LLC, and it became official, we threw the poster out. Not because like it wasn't important to us anymore. It's just because it was like that was part of our victory. And what if, don't go break glass when you but what if you can wipe that off your mirror in 4 months? You have some tools right there with you. We've talked about several things tonight. You have the advanced plan, the core plan, Max T3, your chiropractors. You have a mindset that you will, right? And then you got detox. We'll talk about sugar here in a couple weeks. Let's pray. Lord God, thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for your peace that you bring us, Lord. We pray for healing on every single person in here, not because of me or Dr. Josh, but because you are present in this place, Lord. We love you. You're the doctor of all. And we do this for you. We are obedient to you, Lord. Not because you're an angry father, but because you're kind and loving, and we love you back, and we want to be obedient to your call. Amen. Give yourself a hand clap for being here. We're done. You're dismissed. Don't forget. Hey. Hold on. You're not dismissed yet. I have accountability partner, Kristen. Turn these in. Make sure if you're coming to dinner, make sure that you get signed up because that thing is going to fill up. It'll probably fill up tonight if everybody signs up tonight. Also, if you're coming to all the different workshops, just so we know, sometimes we do have a workshop that's like 100 people, and we have to get a different building. And so if that happens, especially with diabetes, because it's so prevalent in our society, we may actually have to go back to the Holiday Inn. So make sure that you're signing up for that. Kristen, you got anything else?
No, just to put them in the basket.
Thank you. Put them in the basket right there. Everybody look at Kristen. Put them in the basket. Thank you. 15% off protein, Max Fit 10% off everything else. If you need anything, love you. I'm here for you. Actually, I just told Kristen that. See you, Bob. Thank you for encouraging me all the time.
What?
Thank you for encouraging me, smiling through the workshops, and just for being agreeable. You helped me. You helped me teach me. Remington.
Oh, wait, mommy's over here.
Yep. She used to do that.
Remington, come here.